Hey guys, welcome to Practically Famous. I'm Brad, your host.
And I'm Jake, your co-host.
Today's episode, we got a lot to talk about.
We got a lot to talk about.
We had a really good weekend out. I feel like the last few episodes, we got really deep with stuff.
We did.
And we had to lay that foundation for people to kind of understand where we're coming from. But this week, I feel like we have a lot to talk about from our actual adventures going out. And I think there's going to be a lot that we can learn from this weekend.
Absolutely. I think there was a lot that we can learn from, and I think we took a lot of steps in the right direction towards what we want to be, towards the people that we want to be.
I agree. And I think there was a lot of confirmation of that just in the way things were unfolding for us.
Yeah, exactly. Things just start happening whenever you show up with that famous energy.
Yeah.
You literally bring those experiences to you out of nowhere.
All right, so let's get a little deep real quick because you're right.
Us, Steve?
Yeah, no, you're right. We absolutely are just bringing better experiences into our life, manifesting, if you will, if you like that word, if you don't like that word. It's absolutely happening for us.
Yeah.
Because we are just showing up and we're putting in the work.
We're showing up, we're putting in the work to bring the right energy to those places.
Yeah, I agree. And so let's start with Thursday night because we've had a long week. We're very tired. We're very exhausted. We're putting a lot of work into the podcast and plus everything else outside the podcast. So me and Jake, our agreement, our plan is at least every week, Thursday night, we like to go out for at least an hour. Friday night, 2 to 3 hours. Saturday night, we usually try to stay out till 2 a.m.
Yep.
So about 4 to 5 hours.
Yep.
And on this particular week, we were really exhausted.
I was really glad that you were kind of in the same headspace that I was, because I went into Thursday night being like, shit, I really want to go out, but I'm struggling. I'm dragging myself right now.
Yeah, and I'm of the same mindset because it's honestly a lot like going to the gym.
Yeah.
I always want to go to the gym and work out, but sometimes I feel really tired.
Yeah.
And I don't want to. But the gym is actually one area of my life where I have built this skill. I go to the gym no matter what. I don't care if I'm tired. I go to the gym. And there's no excuses, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So for going out Thursday night, I wanted to go out, even though I was feeling exhausted. But I just knew that I was going to have to. I was going to have to show up. I was going to have to put in the reps just like I do at the gym. Because the other thing, too, is every time I go to the gym, when I don't feel like it, I'm actually really happy that I went.
Mm-hmm.
I never leave the gym feeling bad, ever. So I've learned that skill over many years of going to the gym to always show up, even when you don't feel like it.
Yeah, I love that mentality so much. I feel like we've talked about it before. Is like when you're in that state, even just showing up and going through the reps, if it's the gym, if it's going out, that really helps you to move things forward. It helps you grow a lot more than you might think.
Yeah, agreed. And so what we did on Thursday, I called you up Thursday night and I said, hey, are we still going out? Yeah. And, you told me, yes, but I got to be honest with you, I can only do a half hour tonight. And I said, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank God. I think I actually said thank God.
I think so
right?
too, yeah.
Because I was exhausted too. And I was happy that we were going to stick to our plan.
Yeah.
That actually, before I even got out, already I was feeling good about that. And so we get there and we did pretty much exactly what we said we were going to do. We stayed out for a little longer than that, maybe 45 to 50 minutes.
Yep, about 45, 50 minutes.
We did not stay out for the full hour. But what ended up happening is we actually had a ton of fun.
Even for 45 minutes, we talked to a lot of people and I felt that we were very engaging.
Yeah, what surprised me about that is even though we were only out for a short amount of time, my energy actually, it boosted a lot in that short amount of time.
Yeah.
I got out, barely wanted to talk to anybody, and it was actually hard for me to leave.
Yeah. I forget, what were the first couple interactions like? I think they were very mundane.
Yeah, they were pretty mundane. I remember, I don't think this was the first one. I think it was the second interaction was with the kickball team.
Yes.
So there were some people there wearing matching shirts, and they ended up being from like a local kickball league.
Yep.
And after that, like really after them, I was feeling pretty good.
And honestly, I went and talked to them because they all had matching shirts on. It was a very easy way to get the ball rolling, get a conversation started.
Yeah, when you're starting on the night, look for easy targets.
Yes.
Bachelorette parties, birthday girls, people wearing matching outfits, because those people are already trying to draw attention to themselves So it's really easy to approach them.
Yeah, they really are.
They're expecting people to approach them.
Yeah.
So another important lesson that I take from that is remember, because a lot of guys build up in their heads like, girls don't want to be approached. People don't want to be approached. Like that literally could not be further from the truth.
They want to have fun.
People want to get attention.
Yeah.
Right? Especially the people, like you'll notice people begging for attention, right?
Yeah.
Like that's why people go out. People don't go out so they can't talk to anyone.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's literally the opposite reason of why people go out.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling like people don't want to be approached, it's probably you.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably an internal thing where you're like, I don't want to talk to people. Therefore, other people don't look approachable.
And I think going to extend off of that, right? People want to be approached, but people more than anything want to feel good. Again, this goes back to what we were talking about last time. If you walk up to them feeling good and you bring that good feeling energy, they're going to love it, right? They're going to love that you went up and talked to them.
100%. So I think in that time, I remember counting, I did approach 5 groups, probably a couple of bachelorette parties, the kickball team, and then a couple other just groups of girls. And I had a lot of fun. And I ended up staying in those interactions for a pretty decent amount of time, about like 10 minutes each.
Yeah.
Which is good considering that I wasn't going to be out for very long.
Right.
So I thought I was just going to do a bunch of short ones, but even 10 minutes, like 10 minutes sounds short, but it's actually quite a bit of time.
It is quite a bit of time, especially like when you don't know them at all and you just go up and you talk for 10 minutes. It's a pretty solid amount of time.
Yeah. And so I was feeling pretty good when Jake dragged me away from the bar because my state was starting to drastically improve. You know, we talked about state in the first episode and how to build it. And it's by doing exactly what we were doing, having short interactions, enjoying your time, like till you get out of your head. So I was really starting to get out of my head. And Jake was like, all right, I'm pretty much ready to go. And I was like, okay, that's cool. I wanted to leave on a high note because I knew that Friday and Saturday were still coming up. And when you leave the night on a high note, that's a good thing because it makes you want to come back.
So after we left, we were both in a pretty good state. I remember I either texted you or called you later that night, and I was like, dude, I feel so good about myself because we had so many positive interactions over the 45 minutes that we were there.
What was funny actually is that even after we left, we stood outside the bar for another half an hour just recapping.
Oh yeah, we did do that.
We had like a half-hour recap on a 45-minute night.
Yeah.
And these are the exact things that we were talking about, just the lessons that we learned from doing that. Because we haven't had a night out that short. That was our shortest night out yet, right?
Honestly, I'm even feeling better right now just thinking about how good we felt leaving the bar on Thursday night.
Like you're getting the feeling back?
Yeah, I'm getting the feeling back.
Flashbacks.
And I forgot a little bit that we had that half an hour recap after we left, and it felt really good, right? We were celebrating the positive energy that we were able to bring and exchange at the bar.
And do you remember we were standing at the corner having that recap and so many people walked past us and waved at us?
Yeah.
A lot. Like people were feeling our energy because we were feeling good.
We were feeling good. Exactly. People love to feel good.
Yeah. So that was Thursday night. And then Friday night, which is usually supposed to be our quote unquote medium night, right? Like
night.
2 to 3 hours out,
Okay,
right?
Yeah.
Energy management, guys. Energy management is important.
It's everything.
But I will say the week before, we were out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, every single night till 2 a.m.
I think that carried over into this weekend.
It did, right? So it's okay to stretch yourself sometimes because it will carry over. But in general, you want to have a plan to manage your energy.
Mm-hmm.
So this Friday night, we went to another neon rave party. Like I talked about in the first episodes. This was the follow-up neon rooftop rave party.
Part two.
The promoter throwing it, Sharky, throws amazing parties. So we go.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Sharky. What we did is this time, instead of going out just me and Jake, we actually invited girls to go out with us.
Mm-hmm.
And these were girls, these weren't like quote unquote dates that we took. They were just girls in our social circle.
They were girls that I actually met at the Run Club here in Scottsdale. I met them at the Run Club, got their Instagram, chatted with them. We've actually hung out with them. That was the second time that we've hung out with them and gone out with them was Friday.
Yeah, and what was the first time we hung out with them?
Oh, the first.
It was the first neon rave party, right? That's why we invited them because they came with us to the first neon rave party.
Yeah.
And this time, so we were out with these two girls again. The vibe just kind of felt right. And we didn't necessarily plan it. We kind of planned to just hang out with them as friends and just have them there with us. But the vibe felt right. And we did kind of couple off that night. So not really a lot to report in terms of approaching people, although we did still approach people and we made some friends, found some good connections. One guy that we met told us about a cool after party spot. So, when you're out and you meet people, you can learn cool things about your area, about your city, things that you didn't know about that other people are really into, which is just more opportunities to go meet other people later. And this is from a guy that I was talking to, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to just go out and approach girls.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think Friday night was good for us because it was almost just like enjoying the fruits of our labor, right? Enjoying the fact that we've built up a social circle now and that we've built up our confidence and our ability to lead, bring 2 girls to an amazing party and have a good time, meet some people, chat, and have a good time, and then go home.
Yeah, so that was a really fun night, and we did end up staying up till 2 a.m. So what are you going to do?
Yeah.
We plan for easy nights sometimes, but it just doesn't always go that way.
Yeah.
But it was a very enjoyable night and a less stressful night.
I would say lower energy, lower tension night. In my opinion, that was what we needed. I had a fantastic Friday night, just to be able to go there, to enjoy the company that we brought with us, to just relax. And I like the process of stepping into tension and talking to a lot of people and really growing fast. But it's also good to just enjoy where you're at. And I think that's what Friday night was for us.
Yeah. So that leads into Saturday. So of course we stayed out till 2 a.m. on Friday. We stayed out till 2 a.m. on Friday, and Saturday is now here, and we're again exhausted. So we spent Saturday pretty much relaxed. We went and got a float in.
Yep.
So if you guys don't know, I'm really into doing the saltwater floating in the sensory deprivation tanks. They are incredibly relaxing. It's like the deepest kind of meditation you can do. And I got Jake into it, of course.
And now I'm hooked.
Now we're all hooked.
And I have one scheduled tomorrow.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I have floated the last 3 days. Friday,
really?
I floated Friday for 2 hours, Saturday for 1 hour, and today for 1 hour.
That 2 hours, that's a lot.
It was
Yeah.
glorious.
Yeah.
I was so relaxed when I came out of that. And, it just goes back to me, that's my number one way to regulate my nervous system.
I've seen how important it is to regulate your nervous system because when I go into the tank, I don't even realize how tense I am in my body. And then I come out and I'm like, I feel so much better.
Yeah.
Thank God for floating.
Dude, seriously, I cannot understand how it took me so long. I just started doing this about 3 months ago. It's completely changed my life.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's no way that I could accurately describe or accurately define how much of an impact it's made, because all the growth I've made over the last 3 months coincided with me also floating.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't say it was the floating, but I can't say it wasn't, right? The floating has made a very profound impact on me.
Yeah.
So I go out, right? I step into a lot of tension, dealing with a lot of things coming up. I've quit various substances over the past few months, and that's also been challenging in my nervous system, including caffeine, which was a lot more challenging than I thought it was going to be. And the floating really helps regulate me and calm me down.
Yeah.
So now, I'm hooked. I do it multiple times a week, and I can't see myself ever going back.
Yeah. I think after Saturday we did the float and then we went out. Mm-hmm. And I told you, we got to do this before we go out every single time.
Yeah. I love it before going out.
Yeah.
I love getting a float, just eating some dinner, and then going out.
Yeah.
Hanging out. But Saturday night, even with the float, we were pretty tired. So we go out and we go to this venue called Sun Bar. We wanted to go to an EDM show. Saw a Gesture playing a techno set. Techno's not my usual vibe, but he threw down.
It was a banger.
It was absolute banger set.
Yeah.
So we went out, and this actually ended up being an extremely profound night for us. Mm-hmm. So we were out. I would say overall, our energy was, I wouldn't say low, but it wasn't high.
It wasn't low, but for me, it was flat.
Flat. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good way to say it.
Yeah. It wasn't bad. We were talking to people and we were having good responses overall, but just not at the level that we usually are now. We do bring a lot of positive energy usually, and I think we were just a little burnt out, a little flat.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt when I was there.
Even so, that's a very subjective feeling of the night, because still we weren't getting any bad reactions from anyone.
Yeah, we really weren't.
Still, everyone we talked to was really enjoying talking to us.
Yeah.
But we were kind of just in a I don't have that much energy to give you, but still they were responding well.
Yeah, it's true. I think we have to still recognize that our baseline is much higher than it used to be, and we think it is.
Yeah. So I would say we were there for about an hour. And one thing I was very proud of, I talked last week about being a slow starter sometimes. I was actually, even with my energy being a little flat, I was able to get there and start approaching right away. And I started approaching everyone. There wasn't a lot of people when we got there. So I approached literally everyone that was there when we got there. And I was expecting that to really pump my state, but my state was still kind of a little flat, but it was okay.
And just a question on that. Approaching in that circumstance, what was that like? Because for me, in that circumstance, it was very much just like, hey, what's up? How are you guys doing? Type of thing. Like I wasn't trying to go and be super suave or anything like that. So what were those initial approaches like for you?
Well, here's the thing. Typically, I never try to be super suave.
Yeah.
I typically walk up to people and say, hey, what's up? And let my energy do the talking for me.
I love that.
You like that? Yeah. In general, yeah, it was just, I'm here, I want to socialize. And I think really more than anything, what I wanted to do out that night was just keep my promises to myself.
Yeah.
And at least go through just like Thursday night where I said, hey, I'm going to go out for a little bit and go through the motions. I knew I was still going to be out probably till 2 a.m. tonight, but I wanted to keep doing the things I said I was going to do. I didn't want to just slack off and do nothing or take it easy. I wanted to continue approaching, and I wanted to try and build a better state, even though it was challenging, because there's always so many things to learn, because every night is different. Every night presents a new lesson to you. And tonight's lesson was about, what if I feel flat in my energy, but I don't feel anxious or insecure either.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly right. Yeah.
So what is it going to be like to approach in this state? And so we did that, I'd say for about an hour, we were doing that. And then we kind of found our groove downstairs at the bar.
Yes.
So there's an upstairs area that's really loud club, like hard to talk to people. And then there's a downstairs bar where you can talk to people better. And I found that in our energetic state, we just weren't at the go hard, super loud section of the club. We need to be in the bar. And we just started talking to people. And then our friend showed up, actually.
Yeah.
And that kind of pumped my state a little bit.
It did mine too.
Right.
Yeah.
So seeing him was fun. And then we started talking to the people around us. And I do feel like that was probably the time where our state did start to get a little better.
Yes.
Because there were these two girls that were putting stickers on us, right? They put like 8, 10 stickers on us.
Honestly, way too many stickers on me.
Yeah.
Way too many.
But it was fun.
It was fun,
we were just like, whatever, it's a fun night. So we're doing that. And then there were a couple other girls at the bar that we started talking to, started vibing with, started having a lot of fun. And all of a sudden, the kind of energy in the room shifted. And we kind of became the center of attention.
Yeah, it really did happen like that. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, girls are asking to take a picture with you and posing with you.
Yeah, girls came up to me like, they were talking, we were vibing, having fun. And the conversation was like a little flirty. And then they're like, oh, can we take a picture with you? And during this process, a guy came by us and he complimented our outfits. And we're going to get into the importance of how you dress while you're out in this episode for sure. Like he complimented our outfits. Like, you guys all look so, like dripped out. You guys look so cool. Like asking us about the brands that we were wearing. We like to wear a lot of Undergold, which is a Colombian designer. And, he was like, okay, you guys are dope. I met him on Brian, was his name. So we talked to him for just a minute and then he went off and then we went back to hanging out with the girls, right? Little did we know, and this is where the night's about to get real profound, guys. Brian was there with his friend Mark and they were sitting off at a table in the corner and they were just watching us. They were watching how we were with the girls, how we carried ourselves, how we were dressed and everything. And then he actually came back to us a few minutes later and started talking more about himself and what he did. And turns out him and his buddy were actually really plugged in to the EDM music scene in the city.
Like really plugged in.
Yeah, really plugged in. And so he was showing us like what he did and showing us all the cool people he worked with and everything. And they started mentioning to us, we really like your guys' vibe. What do you guys do? And so we started telling them about the podcast, what the podcast is about, how it's about building a social life, networking, dating, meeting girls, confidence, dealing with your insecurities and such. And they really liked what they were hearing from us because they saw it.
Yeah.
They were watching it. Like we had no idea that we were being watched like this. And they started talking about ways that they could use our skill set in their industry. It was so funny because literally earlier that day, Jake and I were talking and Jake was telling me, I want to think big for our podcast. I want to think big about what we can be and what we can accomplish and who we can reach and all that. And this was kind of like one of those things from the universe, right? The universe telling us, hey guys, think big.
Think really big.
Think really big.
Yep.
Because I love EDM. I've been in the rave and music festival scene since 2017. It's one of my biggest passions in life. I've always been a huge music fan. I'm very plugged into the rave community. My rave family is very important to me. And yeah, these are the kinds of people that I want to have connections with in my new life in Arizona.
Yeah.
And so we just talking about the different ways that we could either use the podcast to, promote the scene or the artists, or even just utilizing our networking skills to build high level relationships for the company,
to connect them with their fans and vice versa.
Exactly. Just how we can connect people, because guys, this is such a valuable skill.
It really is.
Being able to connect with people is one of the single most valuable skills that you can own. And a lot of people cannot do this. And how do we start to build this? By going out and talking to girls. Talking
to everyone.
And we do talk to everybody.
Talking to everyone, having a good vibe, showing up, put together, so dressed well, but also confident. Those 3 things will really go a long way. And frankly, not a lot of people are really taking the action to optimize those things.
No, not at all.
I mean, we stood out at Sunbar because we had good vibes. We had people coming up and talking to us. So, of course, the guy who's super well connected in the EDM scene wants to get to know guys like us.
Yeah.
And frankly, that's what Practically Famous is about.
Yeah. So we were at the bar, we looked famous.
Yeah.
We're dressed better than all the other guys there. Girls are coming up to us, taking pictures with us. And the people that were super well connected that we had no idea we were being watched. To me, that was one of the biggest lessons I got out of last night, was that always assume you're being watched because you are. Not in a some guys are going to take that way too far and be oh my God, people are watching me.
That's a good thing. Yeah. When you have that confidence, that charisma, I mean, that's what you're asking for, right? You're asking for the spotlight to be on you, but that's a good thing, right? Because opportunity comes your way when that happens.
Yeah. And there's definitely there's good attention and bad attention. For sure. But we've developed our skill to get good attention. Yeah. Girls want to come up to us, take pictures with us. High level men want to come and meet us and network with us just because of the way we're carrying ourselves. So the first thing the guy came up to us and said to us was about how we were dressed.
Yeah. He was like, you guys look great. You guys look fantastic.
That makes such a big difference. And in that moment, I actually realized man, the way we dress, it's not even for the girls necessarily.
No.
It's for the networking. It's not even for all of that. Guys, the reason we dress so well is so we stand out. Yeah. That's the reason. You need to stand out. Don't get me wrong. I look great in jeans and a t-shirt. I'm wearing jeans and a t-shirt right now, but I'm wearing oversized, streetwear shirt. It's very
nice. The accessories.
Very nice quality. I got all my accessories going, my necklace, my rings, my watch, my bracelets, and I look good. And then last night I also had my sunglasses on. The whole outfit just put together looks so good. And yeah, like I said, I would still look good in a normal outfit, but I'm not going to stand out. I'm not going to catch people's eyes oh, who's that guy? Yeah. Even a little bit of attention like that can go a long way, and it can bring opportunities into your life.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's part of the formula.
It really is. And honestly, it's one of the easiest things to change.
Yeah, it is.
It doesn't require,
deep internal work. Yeah.
You don't have to go into a shame spiral to change the way you dress,
That's funny.
The way you have to learn to overcome your insecurities just to approach people and talk to people. You can change the way you dress overnight.
Yeah, you can.
You can get a better haircut overnight.
Yeah.
Changing the way you look is so easy. That's one of the easiest things to do. And it's such a high ROI activity.
Yeah, because not only do people look at you different, but you feel different. I feel so different.
100%. That's so important that you said that. I feel completely different about myself since I started dressing better. I look in the mirror and I'm just like, wow, this guy's a G. Yeah. Who wouldn't want to hang out with me? Yep. Who wouldn't want to come talk to me?
Exactly. I walk with a different amount of swagger, if you will, when I'm really dressed nice, really like the way that I'm feeling in my clothes. I really do.
Definitely. Because a lot of the times I go, the float spa to get my float in, and I just wear a tank top and athletic shorts, it's whatever. But sometimes I almost don't like doing that. I almost
I don't
want
like it. Yeah.
I almost want to dress up, but I'm I know this is literally so impractical. I'm just going to go in my tank top and athletic shorts because I'm just going there and coming back home. But other than that, no, I cannot leave the house looking like I'm not my best. Yeah. Because I walk different. I get stares. You know, I get eye contact from girls a lot of the time, just walking down the street.
Yeah. I remember on Saturday, every single girl was looking at us for sure.
And it's fun,
It's fun.
right?
It's cool.
And definitely, I think there's a level of learning to appreciate attention.
Yeah.
Because when you first start off trying to develop your social skills, trying to attract girls, the attention is actually uncomfortable. That's part of the struggle, actually.
It
is
is,
like,
yeah.
I'm not used to getting attention. I don't want the attention.
Yeah. And I have moments of still being there, to be honest with
Oh,
you.
yeah?
Yeah, I do, for sure.
Don't look at me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, what are you looking at me for?
It's human, for
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
But I've definitely noticed that I've developed a strong desire to get a lot more attention lately.
Yeah.
From girls. And now I wasn't even thinking that big, but the opportunities that came our way from that. So what happened is we walked away from the girls and like, we're gonna go talk to these guys.
Yeah.
So we went and started talking to them, and they started telling us all about the industry, all about the local scene. And they started to talk to us about the after party scene. And then they invited us to the after parties, like, hey, guys, come with us. We'll take care of you. We'll get you in, take you to the VIP, introduce you to the booking agents, the owners. Like, we'll tell them what you do. We'll connect you. And I was even still a little skeptical sometimes when they were saying that. I was like, yeah, people say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they were like really serious. Like, no, we really think you guys like are cool. We want to take you. And another cool thing that we did is, because we don't drink when we go out, right?
Yep.
Because they were like, we're going to leave the bar to go to the afters at 1:45. We're going to grab an Uber. And Jake.
I was like, hey, we're going the same way. I don't drink. We drove here. We'd happy to give you a ride. And Mark was like, well, absolutely. I mean, that's the perfect trade-off. And I'll bring you and get you guys in VIP if you get me there. And I said, perfect.
I'm glad he thought that was a perfect trade-off, because I thought we had the easy part.
Yeah, we did.
So we did. We met him at the end of the night to go to the after party location, and we drove them. And Mark played on the main stage at a festival earlier this month in Arizona.
Yeah, and I drove him.
Yeah. That's the kind of shit that comes your way when you develop your social skills and your social connections. And that was like, for me, because I was telling Jake, like, this is an identity moment, dude.
Yeah.
Like, main stage DJs drive with you in your car.
That's wild.
Right? And we have to, you have to embrace that energy and embrace that, like, part of your identity now.
Yeah.
That's a normal thing.
I need to do that more.
Yeah. You always gotta embrace not just what you do, but the identity level aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
I am this guy. I don't just approach girls. I'm the guy who girls love being approached by.
Exactly. I love that. I love the way you said that.
Exactly.
So far.
So, and you have to reinforce these identity beliefs about yourself. Constantly tell yourself this. Write it down if you have to. We like to write it into ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Another important lesson that I took from all this is that, and it's something I've known, but again, it just reinforced this belief. You never know what could happen when you go out.
You never know.
You never know. Guys, if you go out tonight, you might meet the love of your life. She might be out there waiting for you.
Yeah.
You might meet your new best friend.
I was going to say, and you also don't know, any given person can be that person.
Yeah.
Like, you have no idea. Even Brian, the guy that we met last night, when I first met him, I wouldn't have thought that he was as well connected as he is, because he just looked like a normal dude, you know? But he knows DJs all across the country. But, like, you just don't know who it is that you go and talk to and what experiences and what connections they have.
Exactly. You don't need to go out looking for the most profound connection of your life. That's not what it's about either. But you don't know. If you see a girl, maybe she's super beautiful and you think, oh my God, she's so out of my league. But you don't know until you go approach her. Maybe you go approach her, and the second you say hi, she gets the biggest smile on her face, and you end up dating her for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know. I love that. Yeah.
I always have that mindset when I'm thinking like, oh, I don't feel like going out. It's like, well, if I stay home, I know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But if I go out, the possibilities are endless. We were planning on staying out till 2, but even at like 10:30, we were thinking like maybe just till 1.
Yeah.
And then we ended up staying out till almost 5 a.m. because we went to this after party with these awesome people we met. So we get to the after party. We're meeting all these other cool people there, these other connected people.
Walking into every single VIP section that there is, just meeting everyone that's back there as well.
Yeah. And because Mark, who's so well connected, is introducing us to everyone has instant respect for us. Like, who are these guys?
Yeah. The owner was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, who are these guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark brought them. Like, we need to know who these guys are.
Yeah.
They must be important if he did that,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So it was a very profound night.
It was a
for us.
huge night for us. I think it really is. It's a test to everything that we've been going through and everything that we have envisioned for ourselves as well.
Yeah, 100%. And it's just a lot of confirmation from the universe, I think, that we are going in the right direction.
I had multiple moments of that on Saturday.
We had a really funny moment of that on Saturday.
Yeah, we
You want
did.
to share that one? I'll even share this, right? So we finished talking to Mark and Brian, and they're like, well, we're going to go watch the rest of the show. We'll meet you guys back here to go to the afters later. I'm like, okay, sounds great. So me and Jake go back to the show. And I remember I made this joke when I was talking to Jake as we were walking back upstairs to go watch the rest of the show. I was like, hey man, I can make high level connections with this, but I'm still too scared to talk to a pretty girl. So I'm not going to do that tonight.
Yeah.
You know, like just as a joke, but it felt real in the moment. You know, I was like, I got to go back to approaching now. So we go upstairs. Actually, we ran into the two girls who were taking pictures with us downstairs.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, come with us, meet our friends and our boyfriends and stuff. I was like, oh, I didn't even realize they had boyfriends, but they took us over there. We met them and they were cool. And we had a great time. So we were dancing around with them. But me and Jake, you know, we were dancing, we were watching the show, and we just had this moment. We kind of mentioned to each other, you know, sometimes it's hard for me to enjoy the show if I don't have a girl like dancing in front of me.
Yeah, I agree.
It was a vulnerable moment for us to both admit that to each other.
Yeah.
And we talked through it in the moment. We actually worked through this in the moment.
I remember I turned to you and I was like, hey man, like I'm a little bit in my head right now. Like I'm a little frazzled right now.
Yeah.
So those moments happen.
And then I told you the same thing about how I feel like I have trouble enjoying the show without a girl. So what did you say? Because we both had a profound kind of realization from it. What did you say about, for you? I'll share what I said for me that I need to do. What did you say?
For me, it was that, you know, we've made so much progress that, you know, we're going to have nights like this and we just have to let these nights be what they are. And we have to let go of judging them as good or bad or right and wrong and just accept that this is the experience of the night right now.
Yeah. And what happened 30 seconds later,
30
Jake?
seconds later. 30 seconds later, girls just come
A
right
girl
over to
threw
me.
herself at Jake. Literally, like less than a minute after he said this to me, a girl threw herself at Jake.
Yeah, she did.
And started dancing with her. And it was, started dancing with him.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing happened, you know, she was dancing like all up on him for a minute or two.
Yeah.
And then that girl's friend literally grabbed her by the wrist and yanked her off of Jake, like to take her more into the crowd.
Yeah.
I don't know what was going on from that, but like, I just looked at Jake. I was like,
I guess I'm good. Yeah.
yeah, the universe just threw you a bone. The universe just telling you like, hey, you're okay. Like, don't worry about it. Good things are coming your way.
Yeah, I think that's exactly true. That's exactly how I felt. You're totally fine. And I actually liked that she left too, because it was like, you're totally fine, but the experience tonight is still to accept what's happening.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Even deeper.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it was good. I think that moment served its purpose for me. It said, you're good with what's happening tonight. Just accept it and go back to that now.
Yeah. And then so what happened for me is, right, I said, it's hard for me to enjoy the show if I don't have a girl dancing in front of me. It's something I need to work on. And then I turned back to Jake. I was like, you know, maybe I should work on it right now. So I did. And I was like, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let go of feeling like I need a girl twerking in front of me to enjoy myself. And I'm just going to enjoy this techno show by myself, standing here dancing, right? With my bro, of course. Not dancing with my bro.
Let's clear that up.
So I'm there, I'm dancing by myself, and I actually start to enjoy myself. And I start to get really into the music, and I'm dancing around. I've got my own little spot with room to move because it's a crowded room, and I actually had like room to dance around. And finally I started having fun, and I kind of just let go of that. I was like, okay, we're all good.
Yeah.
And then what happened? I saw a girl.
Yeah.
I was standing like on a couple of steps, and I saw a girl on the floor, like maybe like 3-4 people into the crowd. And I was like, oh my God, that girl's so cute. I want to dance with her. And so I literally just stared towards her and was just trying to wait for her to turn her head in any way to see me. And I had this feeling that she was going to. I felt it. I knew she was going to do it. And the second she did, I locked eyes with her, and she kind of smiled, and I went like this. I made the come here gesture. She pointed at herself. She's like, me? I was like, yeah, you. And she was like, okay. And she just literally just walked through the crowd, walked right on up,
Yeah.
started dancing with me,
That
and
was awesome.
danced with me for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
We both learned our lesson that if we're seeking the validation, if we need the girl to be there to feel good about ourselves, then it's going to be harder to manifest her, right? It's going to be harder for her to, or we're not creating the space for her to come in.
Yeah. And for me too, I think that what I learned was we're on the right path. Whatever happens, just keep walking.
Agreed. Just keep going,
Yeah.
right? Put in the reps. Thursday night, 45 minutes, go out, put in the reps. Friday night, went out with a couple girls. Just enjoy yourself, have a good time. And then those girls, ended up being very attracted to us, and we had a fun night with them.
Mm-hmm.
Then Saturday night, the universe brought us business opportunities, networking, and so many life lessons about just enjoying the process.
Yeah. And just can't stress enough how big of a step forward that was for us to have those connections on Saturday night. I feel like that is really encompassing of the energy that we bring. We attract high-level connections, and we get into VIP places, even though we didn't know these people when we went out.
Again, we talked about it last week, the nervous system. The nervous system is communicating with the nervous systems of other people in your vicinity.
Exactly.
And it's so funny that we talked about it on that episode, and then that literal exact thing happened the next week where all the nervous systems in that bar were like, who are these guys?
These guys, yeah.
Right?
They're legit.
Why is everyone talking to them? Why are girls coming up to them and taking pictures with them? Why are high-level people networking with them? What's that about?
Yeah.
Our nervous systems are telling everyone in the vicinity, hey, we're the guys.
Yeah, I love that because we are the guys.
Because we are the guys. And that's exactly where I was going, is the identity level of it. I think on one level we are starting to, but we're still developing more of it, literally believe that kind of stuff is going to happen to us every time we go out.
I agree.
Because it is.
Yeah, and it happens to us, and then something else bigger happens to us, and my mind is blown every time.
Yeah,
by
we're
the possibilities.
expanding our beliefs in what is actually possible.
Mhm.
Thinking big.
Thinking big.
Right?
I guess that's all we had to do is just speak it out that we want to think big.
I just want to speak to the audience right now. Like, guys, think big.
Think big as fuck.
Think big for yourselves. Like, don't just think about the next level. Like, focus on the next level, but think big. Because, guys, literally 3 months ago, I was at one of the lowest moments of my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Coming out here after breaking up with my fiance, selling my house, quitting my job, moving out of state. I was on the lowest points of my life, and I didn't know what was coming for me. And I definitely didn't expect that I was going to necessarily be exactly where I am now, less than 3 months later. But you can have whatever it is you want if you put in all the work to get it.
And you can have way more than you ever thought you could get.
Yeah.
If you just start thinking big and walking down the path.
Yeah. And you need both. Obviously, you can't just think big, but you can just walk the path, I guess. But if you don't really have this idea of where you're going or this big, grand idea of yourself and what's possible for you, it's going to be hard to maintain the motivation.
It's hard to maintain the motivation, and I feel like you never have the breakthroughs, right? You just have the mundane.
Yeah.
Like we had the breakthrough of all of a sudden walking into an after party spot that we didn't even know of until the day before and going into every single VIP section that there was.
Yeah.
And like you don't have those big moments when you're just on the path.
Yeah.
You need that vision to propel you into those big moments.
Absolutely. And I guess we'll shout it out. If you guys are local, go check out After 12. After 12 after parties are sick. They have a base stage and a house stage, and the stages are dope.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
We'll definitely be back there.
That'll probably be a bit of a regular hangout for us moving forward. Anything else you want to share? Wrap up this week's episode?
No, not really. Think big.
No, that's it. Let's go. I think, what are our big themes? Think big. Put in the reps.
Put in the reps because when you get there, it's probably going to be a lot better than you thought.
100%. And it gets so much better, guys.
It does get so much better.
I think for me and you, we're both so relieved that we went through so much shit. All the pain of dealing with approach anxiety, getting over that, just getting comfortable talking to people in general, to now where we can just be relaxed and comfortable when we talk to people, and we're having so much fun and people are so engaged with us.
Yeah.
Like we earned it, you know? Like we really earned it.
We really did, yeah. And even though I felt Saturday was overall good, maybe a little flat, I remember telling you that was the most relaxed I've ever been at that venue in my whole life. you know?
Sure.
And it's because my nervous system has strengthened now. I've learned to regulate myself so that when I go to those high tension situations, it's not that big of a deal anymore.
Yeah.
So
100%.
yeah, love it.
All right, guys. Well, it's been a great week for us. I hope you guys are having a great week. I hope you guys are taking action on your goals. And that'll be it for this week's episode of Practically Famous. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week.
Until then, go talk to some girls.